Hello everyone, welcome back to another Realm of the Mad God video. My name is TS Page, and today, as many of you know, the Bard class released, and I just so happened to be one of the lucky people to get my hands on all three of the new UT abilities. So, with that being said, I wanted to showcase all of those to you guys right now. If there's one that you're super intrigued by, feel free to use timestamps pinned down in the comments below, but with that said, let's get straight into the video. So I'm going to go over these in chronological order, in order of how I got them. So the first one is the Wave Crest Concertina, which I got from the Deadwater Docks chest, and I'll play that clip right now.
Not worry, dude.
Fill my vault.
Fill my vault instead.
Fill my vault, dude. Shut up, guys. He's asking me. Oh my god.
Hey, dog. Come to my stream real quick. So a little context for that one, I was streaming with Doggo Fu and Seb Mofros, and essentially they had started streaming a long time before I had, and Doggo had not been able to get that white whatsoever, and I got it on like my 5th DDoS, and it just really upset him after he finally got to see. So, when looking at the stats of the Wave Crest, you are given a very nice 4 attack and 4 dex, which makes the Bard a actual somewhat viable DPS class once you have stats maxed. And then on top of that, the ability itself is extremely good for DPS. When you press space, you activate the ability called Parrot Cannon. This throws a fighting parrot at your target, which you'll see on screen having played for the past few seconds. And also what happens is Feather Frenzy. Every time you shoot, there's a 5% chance or a 1 in 20% chance of you getting a parrot to run around you and protect you for 3 seconds. Both of these abilities combined, if used properly, can result in massive DPS. Alright, here's the clip for the next one, which I'll leave for a little bit of a surprise as to which one it could be.
I don't know why I thought
Pull me weird champ.
I got a white. I got that! I got it!
Oh my.
Let's go! Zoom, boys! Zoom! So, for the next ability, this one is called the Snake Charmer Pungji or something like that. I know I butchered that name, but it's on screen so you can read it for yourself and tell me how bad I am at pronouncing words in the comments. But anyways, this is basically your rushing item. It is a beautiful item for rushing. As you can tell by the stats shown on screen, as a base stat, it gives you +7 speed, which is already a lot, but as soon as you press spacebar, you're given a whole speedy buff for 4 seconds with a 5-second cooldown, making it similar to a cloak as far as rushing goes. And then on top of that, you even get a def boost, making it a massively just beautiful item overall for rushing. And last but not least, here's the clip of the Pharaohs Requiem, which was probably the hardest one to get of all these so far. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh.
Give me a
fucking
just
kill him,
give me
hurry
a
up, man.
DC.
DC too, what the hell?
Oh my god, everyone's DC. What if TS Page DCs before he gets his light? Alright, go.
I got it! I got it!
I got a fucking sphinx ring, dude.
Yes!
But
Nice,
wait, were you
dude,
streaming?
No, I stopped streaming because I had to go eat food. So to really know what the Pharaohs Requiem is, let's first take a look at its stats and then its ability effects. So to start, you can see that it gives +4 def and +4 vit, which if you couldn't tell, kind of is indicating that it'll be the survivability piece, which if you see, we now kind of have this full circle. We have a DPS, a speedy or rushing, and then we have a survivability ability, which sounded really interesting back to back. Anyways, the Wave Crest as well as the Requiem give inspired for 4 seconds within 4.5 squares. I forgot to mention that for the Wave Crest, so I figured I'd say it now. But with that said, that's just the Bard's signature ability, which is times 1.25 range for everyone within the 4.5 squares of the ability. So, the Pharaohs Wrath is the secondary ability to this, and what happens is it summons a Pharaoh's mask that you can see on screen, which inflicts weak for 3 seconds within 2.5 squares every 1 second. So I'm actually going to play some gameplay of this and try and talk over it for a second, because it's a little bit hard to understand. So what you're going to see me do here is you're going to see me run to where the Stone Guardians are going to be. I'm going to place the mask, and what's going to happen, if I zoom in here, you'll see these little tiny gray particles, and those are what weakens. It's a very short range, and you have to be very precise with how you use the item, But what happens, once it does weaken those enemies, they will do 10% less damage to you, and it is an extremely effective item if used in the right hands. And quite possibly the most interesting part of this ability is its passive ability. So what happens is when you take 50 damage, first off you'll get armored for 3 seconds, which is basically just a 3-second prot, and you'll also inflict weaken on enemies for 5 seconds within 5 squares, which can be really interesting, and it just adds more like survivability to the item itself, giving you armored and weakening all of those shots that will be hitting you. And the cooldown on this is 15 seconds, which is pretty balanced, so if it's something you're relying on consistently, make sure you keep track of that 15-second count so you don't rely on it too much. Alright, so now that I've gone over all these stats and some very minute gameplay footage, what I'm going to do is, right now, as you can see on screen, I'm going into Orcs' Castle. All of Orcs' Castle, I bring in ink by the way, so I do Wine Cellar. This Orcs' Castle perfectly displays all 3 abilities being used to their fullest potential. I'll add comments in or a little bit of voice overlay here and there to like signify why I chose what I chose and why different abilities are good in different situations, but it'll be primarily unedited and we'll just have some music going on in the background unless I have something to say. So if you really just wanted to stick around for all the stats and everything like that, which I find totally fair, go ahead, leave a like and subscribe if you did enjoy the video and how I formatted it. It took a lot of effort and I wanted to get it out as quickly as possible for you guys, and it means a lot to have your support, and we've recently been growing a lot, and I just hit 2.2k subs. Wanted to thank all of you, and that being said, 90% of my viewers are still not subbed, which I just find mind-boggling, so if you find yourself new to the channel, it would mean a lot to hit that sub button, or like if you like the video, and I hope to see you guys in the realm. So to start off the Orcs' Castle, you see that I leave the Wave Crest on this entire time. That's simply because Wave Crest is the most damage, and damage is good for minions, since most of them don't pose a real threat to you.
I'm alone, I'm a broken home. I gave you all the bricks that I own and know. I'm letting go, I'm breaking these walls down, breaking these walls down. If you want adventure, then fly to home. But if you wanna travel, then go alone. Yeah, what's the point in us if I never know? Yeah, if you're gonna leave, I'ma let you go. I'm tired of the pain. Go away. I'm tired with yesterday. I fell where my demons dwell. My own little nightmare, I call it hell. Oh well, it's time to get back up. Climbing and climbing, I'm done with this ride, is what I tell myself, so I could feel something else. Yeah, I guess I had my bad days, but it doesn't mean I lost my style. Darling, where were you when my heart was on the ground? I thought time would prove that you would stick around. I guess time.
In a second here, you'll see me switch to the Pharaohs Requiem in order to do the boss fight for the Stone Guardians, just because weakening and the armor is really good here, just for helping out the group, which isn't the most leveled group or the strongest group I've played with of all time, so being able to weaken the Stone Guardian seems like it would be a good option to help out the survivability of the group, and also help me just not get insta-bopped from something stupid. Okay. Actually, like, just what the hell? That was so lucky on a Bard PvE.
My heart rages around like an ocean in my head because there are
For Orcs, you see me switch back to the good old Wave Crest. This is just simply because the Wave Crest is just far better for damage, and Orcs isn't super threatening unless you get hit by a meaty shotgun, in which case Weaken isn't going to help save you anyways, so I figured doing damage just way better anyways.
I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that is not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll find you in my dreams.
This swap out was actually really instinctual by my part, and I was just like, hey, if he's going to chase, I think that the mask would be really good because he'll chase onto the group and chase me in particular, and he'll get weakened whenever he runs over my Pharaoh that I place on top of myself. But it didn't work out too well, but it kind of worked, so kind of worked. It was cool.
Rages around like an ocean in my head. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that is not reality. If you are echoing around inside these parallel dimensions all alone, know I'll find you in my dreams. I can almost feel you walking in the distance, but I know that is not reality.
And for the last you'll hear of me before the end of the video, I just wanted to say the speedy loot on Wine Cellar is literally broken. With max speed on a bard, you're quite honestly faster than a warrior with a speedy helm, which is absolutely ridiculous, and this just showcases how good this Snake Pit UT is.
Can we switch up all the rules and imagine a utopia? Darling, I'm just so fed up with these expectations. They keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, whoa. And if I say it expectations, they keep weighing me down. My heart is begging me to get the hell out of my head. I'm gonna live inside the upside down for a minute and pretend, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, and if I say it enough, it gets ingrained in my head, and I start to think, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a perfect 10. Whoa, honey, I'm a perfect 10. Honey, I'm a, yeah.
Alright, if you made it this far, you're a real champ. I really appreciate you. Type gamer in the comments if you made it this far, because I'm genuinely curious to see if anyone made it this far. With that said, thank you all so much for watching. Have a great one, and peace.